सूचनाएं पहुंचाने में अहम भूमिका निभा रहे हैं। जब नेशन फर्स्ट होता है तब हमारे संकल्प भी बड़े होते हैं और उनको सिद्ध करने के प्रयास भी व्यापक होते हैं।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, हमने भी ठान लिया है, हमारा रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क भी अपने कदम और भी तेज करेगा।
Burning question.
A very good evening. The show is called The Burning Question and I'm Deepthi Sachdeva. And this is usually the time, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring together stories that matter, stories that make us ask questions of different political parties, their positions, their hypocrisy. Muslims as a vote bank. This is something, remember, that again is a given in this country for a long time right now. And when you talk of the Congress, it isn't a surprise that Congress for the longest time, remember, has treated the minorities as a quote-unquote vote bank. But the question we ask is for how long? And does the Congress party believe that Muslims as a vote bank is a vote bank that can be manipulated? Can it be tutored? Can it be forced? Can it be forced to respond to the whims and fancies of the Congress party? And the story has a direct connection, ladies and gentlemen, to the state of Karnataka that is poll-bound, where the Congress is making a big promise for the minorities. That's going to be the big face-off in just a moment, but first up the headlines on top of it. The government announces formation of a fake news unit to tackle misinformation against the government. The opposition and the lobby question the government on the anti-fake news mechanism. They allege this is an attack on their free speech. After the Congress, the JDS seems to be spooked by the Kicha Sudeep entry. They've written to the Election Commission because they want a ban on his advertisements and his films. The Karnataka Chief Minister calls out this hypocrisy. He reminds the Congress and the JDS of the times when they also used stars for campaigns and there were no calls to ban any of them. The Congress party pulling out the minority card yet again. They promised to reverse the Quota decision in the state of Karnataka if they are voted to power. After two high-profile inductions in the BJP from the Congress, it's the Congress leaders who are issuing a quote-unquote introspection warning to their very own party. Now, you know, ladies and gentlemen, it is a dichotomy of our present times that you have different political parties saying we will talk about development, we will talk about your agenda as in people's agenda, and that clearly will be about job, about inflation, about opportunities for you. But then every time they prove us wrong. Because right on the eve of elections, you have different political parties trying to use the religion card. Why? Because they believe that they can divide us all. They believe that we are communities who do not think, who do not see, and clearly do not hear. And we do not remember their sins, if we can use that word. Now, ahead of the assembly elections in the state of Karnataka, the Congress is trying the same trick. They've pulled the minority card. The Karnataka Congress chief, D.K. Shiv Kumar, while taking a jibe at the BJP on the decision to scrap the earlier 4% reservation for the Muslims, for the minorities, he said that as soon as the Congress government comes to power, We will cancel that reservation issue and we will protect the interest of the minorities. Now, you know, when I see this comment and I see what happened 48 hours ago, I'm a little surprised because you would recall that a Padma Awardee, when he was meeting with the Prime Minister, he's an artisan from Northern Karnataka. Now, he said that 10 years under the UPA, no one remembered me. No one wanted to give me any awards. And I'm thankful to you, as in the Prime Minister, for having even considered me when I had no hopes from you. And bang comes the reply from the Congress party, who said this is a tutored reply. Because they think that minorities can be tutored. They think that the minorities as a vote bank is something that will always and always vote for the Congress party. But we are asking for how long? For how long does the Congress party believe that they can get away with this appeasement politics charge? So first up, let's put the entire story in perspective on a state that is looking at elections, and then we'll ask the opposition and the BJP how will they counter this move.
Vadra Congress has pulled out the minority card ahead of elections in Karnataka. They have promised to reverse the decision on scrapping of Muslim quota.
No one will look at all this issue. The only issue will be defeating the BJP. So they all will support the Congress party minorities. We will also stand by them. As soon as our government comes, we will cancel that whatever reservation issue, and we will protect the minority interest.
BJP has slammed the Congress for appeasement politics.
The trouble engine on the other side is fighting amongst itself only for the lust for power to grab the chair. People of Karnataka are not the priority of the Congress party and the other opposition parties.
This is not the first time for Congress to use the minority vote bank for elections. In 2018, Kamal Nath's comment on Muslim vote in Madhya Pradesh had triggered a big controversy.
आज मुसलमान समाज के अगर 90% वोट नहीं पड़े तो हमें बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हो सकता है। आप तो 80 की बात कर रहे हो, मैं तो 90 की बात कर रहा हूँ।
Is Congress once again banking on minority appeasement? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
So how is it that the Congress party can get away with this appeasement politics that they indulge in almost every time? Does the BJP have some bit of logic when they say that religion-based quota and reservations is not allowed? Who really will the people be listening to? And why does Mr. Mecca of the Congress believe that Muslims as a vote bank is something that they can take for granted? And we'll also see the positions adopted by the JDS and the AIMIM this election season in the poll-bound state of Karnataka. I say good evening to T. Sankirta, who's the BJP spokesperson on the broadcast. I do see Shyam Prasad Mecca, also of the Congress. Syed Shafiullah Sahib is Senior Vice President and spokesperson of the JDS with us. And Advocate Adil Hassan is the spokesperson for the AIMIM. आप सबका स्वागत है. Mr. Mecca, let's begin with you. See, I don't know whether you remember what happened just about 48 hours ago, but I remember speaking to you just about last evening, you know, when you had that comment coming in from Pramod Tiwari after the Padma Awards were given. And the Congress party picked up one particular instance where you had a Padma Awardee who actually reached out to the Prime Minister. He said, thank you for considering me an equal citizen of the country. He said the UPA never gave me any honors, they never thought about me. Does this mean, Mr. Mecca, that for the longest time, you will speak about the minorities on the eve of every election, but you give them nothing? You only treat them like a vote bank. For how long, Mr. Mecca?
See, Deepthi, you have the advantage of being a long intro and setting the narrative. Tell me, on what should I speak? Should I speak about the Padma Awardee or should I speak about the quota issue in Karnataka? Have the patience to listen to me on both. On the Padma Awardee issue, we are happy for Mr. Rashid for getting the award. He has his right to put his opinion. There's nothing, there's nothing in politics. But the symbolic move of giving an award to some community is, if that is going to be projected as somebody's show of Sabka Saath, Sabke Vikas, then that's not going to cut the ice. So let's leave that. Now coming to the issue of 4% reservation issue in Karnataka. First of all, it is not the Muslim quota. It is the 4% of OBCs who incidentally belongs to Islam religion. They have a quota which was dropped and being projected as if it is a religion-based reservation. That is the issue, and the Congress party clearly said the OBCs who belong to Islam as a religion should be taken care of as the OBCs who belong to other religions as well. That's the issue here.
You know, Mr. Mecca, clearly we do not have too much of time for niceties, and I have to burst your bubble. Why do you call yourself a secular party at all? Stop calling yourself a secular party, sir. Stop doing that.
No, why?
Don't say you're secular.
Why not? Who is better secular than Congress?
Because you've only been speaking for the last many minutes about the minority community. And why do you believe that you have some kind of an ownership over that vote bank? What about the others?
You have
Why
that
do you
in
forget
your
everyone
mind.
else?
I'm not saying it. What
Really?
I'm saying is we are trying to implement the constitution of this country. That's all I'm saying. Why do you think
that is why the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh has said the minorities have the first right on our resources, Mr. Mecca.
No, so how is that related to what we are talking
Do you remember
today?
that comment?
Yeah, of course, I'm ready to
Everything is related in politics. Netas are very
is that?
careful with what they say.
Because
But
I have
what we'll do,
followed
Mr.
your
Mecca,
law.
is
Now
because
you
you
are
say
going back
you are
10
not
years.
guilty. You're not guilty. You think about all communities. Relax. Why are you getting agitated, Mr. Mecca? Relax. The elections are still about 34 days away. Let me see what is the response, sir, of the JDS and the AIMIM before I get in the BJP. Mr. Mecca, I asked you a simple question. Why do you call yourself a secular party if you cannot speak for the well-being of everyone? And why do you believe that Muslims as a vote bank can be tutored, can be manipulated, and you have some kind of an ownership over that vote bank? You clearly haven't answered both of those questions, but I do see it. You know, Adil wants to come in. Adil wants to come in. Let's listen into him. Now, Adil, you represent the AIMIM. ओवैसी साहब for the longest time has said कि कांग्रेस मुसलमानों के हित में कुछ नहीं करती है. Why do you think, Adil ji, you have the Congress today wanting to use the quota card? Why are they doing this?
Ma'am, Congress is expert in doing drama. In 2012, before assembly election, they told that they will give in Uttar Pradesh and nothing groundwork done. It is in the constitutional that you have to form a committee. OBC commission is there. You have to put the data before the commission. Then only you can give the deprived community. But there was nothing like that. They done this before 2012 election. In Uttar Pradesh, they done the drama. You know about very well. The same Congress party when there was in
Why do they do this drama? Adil, why do they do this drama?
I'm telling. Ma'am, in Maharashtra,
don't hold yourself back today. Let's expose political parties and their hypocrisy.
Let me speak. In Maharashtra, there was in High Court, Honorable High Court, Bombay High Court told the government of Maharashtra to give 5% quota to Muslim minority in educational. But Congress was in government. Mr. Uddhav Thackeray was Chief Minister. Congress was sharing Malai, but Congress did not give. Again, when the quota was scrapped from the BJP, Mallikarjun Kharge won from the Gulbarga 9 times. And it is a minority dominant area. The same Rahul Gandhi represented when he earlier when he was showing Janayodhari, but he lost in Janayodhari area. But the same Wayanad helped him in winning the Lok Sabha. In Maharashtra, they did not give the reservation. Now the election is Mallikarjun Kharge, the Honorable President of the Congress, not even uttered a single word when the quota was scrapped. But election came. Congress started this drama because Congress is expert in. Congress is the Congress hypocrisy. BJP, we know that.
Okay, the AIMIM says, Mr. Mecca, ये सब ड्रामा है. ये सब ड्रामा है. लोगों को बेवकूफ मत बनाइए. I know the BJP wants to come in, but Mr. Sankirta, before I come to you, Syed Shafiullah Saab. ठीक है आदिल आती हूँ आपके पास सैयद शफीउल्लाह साहब हैज बीन वांटिंग टू कम इन, ही रिप्रेजेंट्स जेडीएस। सैयद साहब मुझे ये बताइए कि ये क्या चल रहा है? क्या आप सबसे पहले कांग्रेस के साथ हैं इस पूरे मूव में? क्या आप कांग्रेस का साथ देते हैं इस कोटा पॉलिटिक्स में?
Deepti ji, let me tell you first that whichever government comes, whichever party forms the government, we are going to form the government. That's what we are contesting the elections. But whichever party comes, they have to give justice to all the groups of our citizenry. They cannot leave one group downtrodden and then allow all others to grow. And Muslims should have their share of reservation if reservations are being given on OBC category. It's not Islam or Hinduism or Christianity for which the reservations have been given. The OBC categories among them have been given the reservation, and that should not have been scrapped. And Bombay government, BJP government is showing partiality to every group, and they have removed the reservation, and they have never justified. They are not able to give any reason why they have removed it. And whatever happens, all of us have to grow together for equally, and every group and every individual should have his own opportunity, not taken away. All the opportunities should be given to all groups in proper way. That is why the reservation is there. Otherwise, we should have equal opportunities commission in place in our country, and we don't have that. Hence, whatever reservation is necessary for the equal development of all the groups must be given, and our party is going to do justice to all the groups when we come to power.
Okay, Syed Saab, you've said a lot of interesting things, and
whatever is done to
elections,
Muslims
sir,
is
that's the best time to talk to netas, because what you're doing, Syed Saab, is you've kept the Congress happy, you've kept the BJP happy, and you've declared that you are forming the next government in the state of Karnataka. Now tell me something, how will you form a government without Mr. Meka or Mr. Sankirta? How will you do that? Will you go with the BJP, sir? Syed Saab, you're a very, very senior politician, sir. You're a very senior politician. You understand the grassroots politics like no one else. You obviously today are scared that what if the Congress eats into your vote bank? The Congress has the same fear about you. Are you going to be willing to go with the BJP or the Congress, sir? Kiske saath jayenge?
Deepti ji, we are not willing to go with anybody. We are willing to form the government on our own. We are contesting on 224 constituencies with the target of winning 123. We are working towards that. We are going to win, and H.D. Kumaraswamy will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka in future, and H.D. Kumaraswamy is going to provide justice to all the groups, including Muslims. And you please don't take this as appeasing to Muslims. All Muslims are Indians. They also should grow. They also should develop equal to all other
Syed Saab, you obviously don't want to reveal your cards, sir. I appreciate that honesty from you. You have to keep both the doors open, whether it's the BJP or the Congress. But Syed Saab, let me just ask you the question.
I request you also to be honest, Dipti.
Why today, sir?
I request you also to be honest, Dipti, towards a very good.
Sir, I'm not even a stakeholder in the Karnataka election. I am a student of politics, and I'm fascinated by this conversation where all of you, will speak about propriety, about principles. And when election ka time aata hai na, sir, then all of you, it's like Arvind Kejriwal says, sab mile hue hain ji. So wahi ho jata hai, Syed Saab. But tell me something, Syed Saab. Tell me one thing. Who's more guilty of appeasement? Is it the BJP or the Congress, sir? Who today has done more for the minorities? Is it the BJP or the Congress, sir? Bas 5 seconds mein jawab dijiyega, then I'll get the BJP representative.
BJP is crushing Muslims every place. BJP is crushing Muslims, and it is cutting the development of Muslims in every place. They are saying sabka vikas, sabka saath, but they are doing everything opposite. Wherever question of Muslims comes, they want to cut off their development, like what Mr. Bombay has done over here in Karnataka. As far as Congress is concerned, Congress 50 years of rule or 60 years of rule, it has put Muslims backward in such a place where they are needing reservation to come up again. We were having no reservation. We were having equal rights
And-
when our country got independence.
you want the
And we
reservation
were
for
having,
OBC Muslims
holding
or
all
not?
the posts properly.
अरे Mr. Mecca, Mr. Mecca,
Why
अभी से
not?
लड़ाई
Why
कर रहे हैं.
not?
Mr.
Not
Mecca,
OBC
relax,
Muslims,
relax.
all OBCs.
Relax,
Who are
relax.
you-
I mean, he has an
how can
opinion.
you- how
He has
can
an
you-
opinion.
how can you
He's asking
how can
questions
you
of
put
you.
a
Why are you
question
getting
like that?
agitated?
I am asking you a
Every
question.
group, every group of my country, every OBC of every group must have the reservation for equal development of all the citizenry of
Does
the
that
country.
include Pasmanda Muslims or not?
Okay, relax. I'll come
See,
for that
Muslims
second round of
also
questioning.
require,
Mr. Sankirta still hasn't
reservation
spoken.
because they are not developed.
Mr. Sankirta,
Rajendra
Mr.
Singh
Sankirta,
Sachar
because you
committee report
represent
is
the
there which has
BJP
said
here.
Muslims
You
are much
represent the
backward
BJP
than
here. There is a school of thought, sir.
SC/STs.
Syed Saab, Suniya, please. I'm going to come back to you, sir. Mujhe 30 seconds, CJ. Let me get the BJP's response. Now, Sankirta ji, there is a school of thought that says that because the BJP today is mired with charges of factionalism, they allege, of corruption, you haven't done anything on ground zero. Basavaraj Bommai is a failed chief minister. He hasn't as charismatic as B.S. Yediyurappa was. That is why you want to, talk about this minority versus the majority narrative. Are you guilty of appeasement as much as the Congress is, Mr. Sankirta?
I want to make two quick points. One is that the government in Karnataka, we are going with a pro-incumbency government, which will fetch us more than 150 seats in the upcoming 2023 elections. Secondly, whenever Congress gets an opportunity to malign and insult the Hindu sentiments, they make the best opportunity and make the best use of it to insult the Hindus. I would like to ask them this kind of a OBC reservation. When Baba Sahib Ambedkar told that religious minorities cannot have a reservation in the backward zone, it is unconstitutional. How can they claim it? We were insisting the Congress to make a stand of things because Congress does not have a proper stand in these kind of situations. Take it hijab, take it halal, all the debates were empty. They were empty. They did not have a proper stand.
Aati hu, Syed Saab, let him complete his points. I'll come to you.
And they always don't have a proper stand regarding all these issues. So Mr. D.K. Shivkumar has cleared it out that we are against the major popularity Hindus and the OBCs. See, we have not done any injustice to the Muslim community. We have taken out the 4% unconstitutional reservation.
But are you also guilty, Mr. Sankirta? I have to ask you that follow-up question. Are you also guilty of polarizing? You raised the issues of Tipu Sultan, about Veer Savarkar, about the hijab issue in coastal Karnataka, a lot of other areas. I mean, the debate is very vast, and that is why I said, is the Congress and the BJP both guilty of appeasement at their own levels?
Appeasement and polarization is up to Congress. We don't go fight elections on those issues. We fight elections on pro-incumbency. We fight elections on development. We fight elections on our national perspective and a state perspective. We treat it in such a way. We have not scrapped the Muslim reservation. We have brought them in a bigger bracket. We have given the Muslims into the 10% economically weaker section segment so that they will be benefited even in
Then Mr. Sankirta, there is one question. There is one question that the BJP hasn't answered. I know Syed Saab and Mr. Mecca also want to come in. Adil, I'm coming to you also. But Sankirta ji, tell me something. Was there some study done that actually told you that all these Muslims will go to the EWS community only? I mean, was there any study done on the basis of which you have made this entire decision, and that too just days before the model code of conduct sets in? The other question that can be asked of you, आपने इतने time से क्यों नहीं किया?
A detailed cabinet study.
Why at the fag end of your government?
Let me come in. A detailed cabinet committee study has been done regarding the quota shifting from the OBC to the EWS. See, in EWS, the religious Muslims were given only a 4% bracket, in which we have distributed it to the major Lingayat and the Vokaliga community, 2% to the Lingayat, 4% to 6%, and to the Vokaligas from 5% to 7%. So this kind of a shift we have given accommodated to the Lingayat and Vokaligas, who are Hindu OBCs in certain things, and the Muslim segment, who are in more of number, have been shifted to the EWS, where then they will get a more opportunity They had to fight between only these
No,
4%.
but why did you
And
wait?
there were
Why did you
100
wait for the
why-
elections? You know, the elections to be just round the corner to do this. Isn't that a valid question, Syed Saab?
We have given them a big,
Syed Saab, is there politics? Is there politics in this big quota move by the BJP? How do you see this? Or you see this as genuine effort to rejig and to ensure that there is no quota based on the religious lines?
No. Right now, at present, this quota is not based on the religion. This quota is based on economically weaker section. I mean, OBC. OBCs among Muslims only used to get the 4% quota. Now, BJP has removed it and removed it completely only to see that Muslims won't develop equally to others, and that is the BJP's agenda. It's not appeasement. It is a kind of hatred towards Muslim community, what BJP has shown. And what we tell the BJP is, this is not right. Our country will not develop. Our Nadu, the Karnataka will not develop. This is not the way they should treat the Muslims or any other community that way, because everybody is a taxpayer here. Every citizen is a taxpayer. The government is run by the taxes of all the people. And just because they got elected, they should not think that the government belong to only BJP and RSS. The government belong to all 600.
But you know, Syed Saab, time is limited. Time is limited. And before I go to Adil for his second comment, Syed Saab, one genuine question, and you know, there is a reason why that you have Syed Saab speaking and you have both the Congress and the BJP listening, because they also in their hearts know that without the JDS, you cannot have a government perhaps in the state of Karnataka. Now, Syed Saab, speaking from a position of power that you are in today, you know, that you possibly could be the kingmaker, can you tell me that you will not have any alliance with the BJP then? Are you ruling out an alliance with the BJP? Who is a bigger enemy, sir? Who is a bigger enemy? Bada dushman kaun hai? Is it the BJP or the Congress?
Right. It's not question of enemy and friend. It is question of forming the government. We are going to form the government in Karnataka. We are targeting 123 to win, and Mr. H.D. Kumaraswamy is going to provide the excellent government and excellent development to all the communities, all the groups, without any hatred between Hindus, Muslims or any other community. And the BJP has developed and spread a lot of hatred.
Okay, this is interesting, Syed Saab. I'm so tempted to ask you one little question, but I only have 5 seconds for you. If the JDS is in the government, will you have a Muslim chief minister? Because this is a comment that I've heard from the JDS being spoken again and again. Will we have a Muslim chief minister of the state of Karnataka?
Right now, this time, Mr. H.D. Kumaraswamy will be our chief minister, and we will also see that everybody gets an opportunity later on. Definitely, we are not against any community, any religion, anybody.
Syed Saab, time is limited. Adil hasn't spoken. Adil ke paas chalte hain. Let's go to Adil. Okay, theek hai, Syed Saab. Point well taken. Adil, you've heard all these players today. Now tell me, what is the room for the AIMIM in the state of Karnataka, or are you just a spoiler? Are you just the B team of the BJP, as many people allege? What is your future?
मैम, हमारे लीडर जिसको बोलते हैं वो चीफ मिनिस्टर बनता है। केसीआर साहब को बोले बना, जब 18 में चुनाव कर्नाटका में हो रहा था, कुमारस्वामी साहब को बोले थे चीफ मिनिस्टर बने, वो बने। जगन साहब का बोला, उन्होंने बना। ये हमारे लीडर की जुबान ने अल्लाह इतना मुबारक किया है।
ठीक है। तो ओवैसी साहब कैसे बनाएंगे? ये भी तो सवाल उठेगा ना। आदिल, बार ये सवाल उठेगा कि ओवैसी साहब खुद सरकार बना नहीं सकते, लेकिन वो किसी की सरकार बनने से रोक सकते हैं, है ना? बनता काम बिगाड़ सकते हैं। समय की कमी है आदिल। Please don't take it otherwise. It's been a fascinating conversation in the run up to the Karnataka elections, gentlemen. I promise we'll have a lot more of these conversations. Thank you all of you. Thank you all of you for your time. We quickly are heading into a break right now. On the other side, back with lots more.
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, We are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
When we see that the masterminds, the plotters of this attack are still unpunished, they are still roaming free, what can India and Israel do together to ensure that the plotters, the mastermind of this attack are punished?
Everyone that took part of the terror attacks pays the price, a very heavy price. So we are still waiting for those who committed, those who sent, those who operated those terror attacks to be brought to justice. And indeed, we need to bring very serious pressure from all the world, from all the free world who stands against terrorism.
इस देश में बहुत समय के बाद एक ऐसी सरकार आई है जो सरकार टिकाने के लिए नहीं चल रही, देश को सुधारने के लिए सरकार चल रही है।
ये पहला एक बड़ा इवेंट हुआ है जहां पे आप इस पर विस्तृत तौर से इन डिटेल आप बात करेंगे, तो लेट अस एड्रेस ऑल इश्यूज।
Mediation will work when there is uncertainty of winning by any one party. इसलिए जो judgment आया यही सबसे उत्तम है. This puts an end to the whole issue.
Assertive 1% that wants to open the wounds again. They do not operate only by the verdict of the court. Dragging back economic fugitives, fantastic. But a crackdown on corruption alone is not enough to steer the economy.
That is where the reforms are not just to remove those who are with several cases of corruption and disproportionate assets. This will ensure that at a local level, no officer can go about saying, hey, I've come to inspect you, without the system approving it.
आप सभी देश के जन जन तक सही सूचनाएं पहुंचाने में अहम भूमिका निभा रहे हैं। जब नेशन फर्स्ट होता है तब हमारे संकल्प भी बड़े होते हैं और उनको सिद्ध करने के प्रयास भी व्यापक होते हैं।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, हमने भी ठान लिया है, हमारा रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क भी अपने कदम और भी तेज करेगा।
How do you see Israel helping India in combating the water crisis?
It's a major problem here in India and we have the solutions. So we are trying to work together, bringing the information, bring the technologies, bringing the excellent centers that we have here in India. And I know Prime Minister Modi deals with that a lot, and he was successful to bring dozens and dozens of millions to accessibility to water. And this is a great success. And I would like us to work more closely on that.
इस देश में बहुत समय के बाद एक ऐसी सरकार आई है जो सरकार टिकाने के लिए नहीं चल रही, देश को सुधारने के लिए सरकार चल रही है।
ये पहला एक बड़ा इवेंट हुआ है जहां पे आप इस पर विस्तृत तौर से इन डिटेल आप बात करेंगे, तो लेट अस एड्रेस ऑल इश्यूज।
Trending burning question, powered by General Air Conditioners.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavin Sen. Tonight, we focus on what's really happening in Pakistan. It's yet another crisis. Economic and political fallout. The country now faces a judicial crisis. While Shehbaz Sharif is all set to defy the court order and stares at army for help, the bigger question is that whether at all Pakistan will be able to come out of the kind of instability that they are facing at. We are looking at a year when they are facing polarization, they are facing back-breaking inflation and a host of other issues. Take a look at this report and then we begin the trending burning question.
For the first time in history of Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is set to defy the court. He is finding ways to delay the polls in Punjab. He also convened a meeting of the National Security Committee, where he sought support of the military leadership to postpone the elections due to security concerns. This comes within days after three-member bench of the country's apex court fixed 14th May as the new date for elections to the Punjab Assembly. The decision of Shehbaz could land him into deep waters as he could be ousted if he doesn't implement court orders. Will Shehbaz also face the same fate as Imran? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Joining us on the trending burning question tonight are Ambassador Ashok Sajjanar, former diplomat, Jitendra Kumar Ojha, geopolitics security expert, Abdul Samad Yaqub, political analyst. Abdul Yaqub, let me begin by asking you, and then I'll bring in Ambassador Sajjanar also. What exactly is really happening? Now, is that the kind of insecurity that only reason being that you're afraid? Shehbaz Sharif appears to be completely afraid of what would really be the case if Imran Khan is given the free run, and that's the reason why today a situation where you're trying to overturn what the Supreme Court of your country has to say.
Well, have you asked this question to me, then I would like to reply that yes, you have rightly mentioned in your introduction that Pakistan is facing the judicial crisis. I mean, there is another crisis. There is a political crisis. Pakistan is actually facing multiple crises. I mean, there is a level of multiple crisis. Now, Shehbaz Sharif and PDM is so partified from the elections that they are trying to play each tactic to run away from the election, to try to delay the elections. So at this moment, when Pakistan is at the verge of default, I mean, they are failed to realize that they should go to get the public mandate. I mean, they have the situation is worsened now. I mean, each day it is getting more worse. So I mean, at the moment, they don't have any options left. I mean, now they are trying to confront the judiciary, the higher judiciary, by these resolutions, which has no legal. I mean, it could have a moral value, but no legal value. The Supreme Court decision cannot be overruled by the resolution of the Parliament.
The question is, Ambassador Sajjanar, if today the political dispensation in Pakistan does not really respect its own judiciary, and the other issues that are plaguing this country, right from a back-breaking inflation. If you take a look at the foreign reserves, as of today, I'm given to understand, it's at about $4.3 billion. That perhaps is just about to cover another month's worth of imports. And it also raises the possibility of default. Ambassador Sajjanar, for anyone, any country in such a situation, it does not augur well for the entire subcontinent. And no one in the right mind would essentially like to see Pakistan being in this condition, because that only results more problems for several other countries.
No, you're very right. I think instability and insecurity in Pakistan is a matter of concern, not only for Pakistan itself, not only for its people, but definitely for the whole region. And we see also, that there is Afghanistan on the western side, where there is been control of the Taliban for the last more than 1.5 years, close to 2 years, but still not a single country in the world has granted diplomatic recognition to that regime. So, and we see that there are a large number of terrorist groups and organizations in that country. So instability in Pakistan definitely is not good news for anyone. But I guess, as far as the issue that we are talking about, it's not a single crisis. As your guest from Pakistan has said, this is, Pakistan is in the midst of a poly crisis. First there was the huge polarization as far as the country is concerned with the opposition, with Mr. Imran Khan and the government. The government has now been in position for about a year, but it has really not been able to find its feet. It's not been able to deal with the economic crisis that has been brewing for quite some time, even during the time of Imran Khan. So I think the government finds itself in a very difficult space. The problem, I think, for Mr. Shehbaz Sharif is that he delays the elections now, and it goes up to October. Meaning, what miracle is there going to be really from now up to from May up to October? The condition in the country is doesn't seem to be getting any better economically. Also, politically, we see that Imran Khan continues to be extremely popular. If elections are held next month, he is going to win as per current indications. If elections are held a few months later, I don't think there is going to be any change in the situation. So I think this is the government in Pakistan seems to be digging a hole for itself by pursuing this path. But what to what end, it is not very clear, because the issue it does not get the government to come to grips with the situation, either political or economic. Shravan.
Ambassador, that's exactly the concern. I would like to go a little bit more detailed when it comes to the economic crisis that Pakistan is essentially facing. In fact, in a short while from now, Javed Khan Jadoon is also going to join us from Islamabad. If he is already there, I would like to take a question with him. If not, then perhaps Jitendra Kumar Ojha also can come in. Mr. Ojha, I'll come to you, but I'm told that Javed Khan Jadoon is already joining us on this broadcast. Javed Khan, let me take this question to you. I'm not sure whether you've heard what my earlier panelist had to indicate. Both sides, India as well as Pakistan, he guessed that we've had, they both agree that you're really staring at a dire situation. And I would like to focus right now on the economic crisis that you're facing. Now, as far as your debt restructuring is concerned, I'm given to understand that by 2025, you ought to pay about $75 billion. Which essentially means that you are not in any position. The loan that you've basically got from Saudi Arabia as well as the Gulf nations, in all likelihood, you are going to default. In a situation like that, the current government is essentially looking at how exactly do we rehabilitate Nawaz Sharif? How exactly are we going to ensure that this entire popular uprising for Imran Khan is quashed in some way or the other? By doing that, you're only setting a wrong example. And how long will you continue? I'll come to the other aspect of something that you've never dealt with, that is dealing with the terror camps, but I'll come to that a little later. But the economic crisis that you're facing.
Yes, I think indeed we have got three-pronged problems: economic, political instability, and of course now we have constitutional issues as well. There's a government which is basically standing up to the Supreme Court of Pakistan, and the parliament which is consisting of the National Assembly and the upper house, which is called the Senate of Pakistan, on one side, and the top court on the other. But I think the problems are definitely very serious, very grave. You talked about economy. We are trying to deal with it. We are trying to approach the United Saudi Arabia, and we are trying to approach United Arab Emirates. And of course, China is also helping us out. Now, this new crisis, which is the constitutional crisis, has really aggravated the situation for Pakistan. And 220 million people are looking towards the political leadership for its earliest resolution, because political instability does not go well with any country, with any society. Having said that, I think we have got a very resilient society. We've got a very resilient civil society, the legal fraternity, and of course, our top courts are very independent. And as far as instability is concerned, we can try and overcome it. But I think the question is, every country in different phases has gone through such periods of political instability, economic instability. But in my personal opinion, it shouldn't be a cause of concern for the regional countries, because we are able to deal with it. And inshallah, we will deal with it ultimately at the end of the day.
No, I don't, it's good to be really optimistic about it. But Javed, when you have to pay $75 billion by 2025, and the fact of the matter is that you perhaps have only reserves for about just a month so that your imports can continue. And you're just hoping that some sort of a tranche comes in from the IMF, which again, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But it's good to be optimistic. You are saying that you have a resilient civil society. That resilient civil society will also start rebelling if they don't get food on their table. And that's exactly what we saw. Food riots actually taking place in your country. But it seems that the focus is never the same. And this is exactly why I want to bring in Jitendra Kumar Ojha. Jitendra Kumar Ojha, last year, 150 attacks have taken place in Pakistan. Most of them carried out by the TTP. And let's not forget who exactly is harboring TTP and what's the current situation. We all know about it. But if you really look at the focus area of this particular government, it seems to be completely misplaced. And that's exactly why we are staring at this kind of a situation. In fact, they are still bothered about carrying on infiltration across the line of control.
Look, whatever we are witnessing in Pakistan is an outcome of certain strategic faults in the very foundation of state of Pakistan. We feel very sad that the whole of South Asia is doing extremely bad in most HDI parameters. And Pakistan in 1950s, they had the most fertile land, most favorable land-man ratio. But unfortunately, the political dispensation, whosoever you can say, they came to Pakistan. They invested their entire energy in geopolitical games, initially on behalf of the Western powers and now on behalf of Chinese powers. They recreated their own ancestry from Arab world and Turkic world, etc., etc. And they made a mockery of this region, denying their heritage, etc. And on behalf of those powers, their whole objective of this military establishment, or whosoever you can say, was to bleed India, to harm this region, not realizing that they are also part of this region. Unfortunately, I hope that our Pakistani friends, they take it in right spirit, that the government never considered people as relevant. They never tried to build any infrastructure or institution of governance. Whole focus was, even if this money, etc., it comes, it goes into. I have been speaking to some very intelligent Pakistanis. I'm surprised, there are a small number of highly educated Pakistanis. Most of them have been compelled to leave their country and they refuse to be addressed as Pakistani. They take a lot of pride in their common past of this subcontinent. And what they say, that no infrastructure for governance was met. Army has been virtually controlling it. You see, in a crisis situation, a country is expected to come together. You take the case of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, the most experienced politician has become president. They have made an interim government. A politician with exceptional integrity, he has become prime minister. And they are trying to tide over this crisis, and they are debt-free now. They have come to a great extent. But what is the situation in Pakistan? In a situation of crisis, you expect them to come together, address this thing. But very sad and unfortunate part is that, governance or people have never been on priority. They may try to manufacture an Arab and Turkic ancestry for themselves, but as Indians, we feel very sad and disheartened that we still consider them as our own people. And, at this point, they are in denial mode. They are in denial mode that, look, everything is all right, and they're trying to harm India. But let me tell you, I have always told Pakistani friends also that, look, you have to have a positive agenda for governance. You have to relate with this region. You can't really allow the whole system to be hijacked by someone who's playing games on behalf of Western powers at one level, on behalf of Chinese or somebody else at another level. They can't manufacture roads. They can't manufacture anything. Everything depends on loan, etc. And most of the loan, if you see, this goes into pockets of some small number of people. I'm not saying it. Pakistanis themselves are saying it. So this is not a sudden problem which has come up. It is rather a manifestation of very serious flaws in the entire governance structure, the entire foundation of Pakistan, and the vision they have, whatever vision they have, because that is dictated by military establishment, because politicians hardly have any say. I conclude.
In fact, I'll just take this to Abdul Samad also. Abdul Samad, just as far as the situation is concerned, a US think tank now says that it's going to have cascading effects because you're not going to be able to repay. Your debt is only going to increase. If that's the case, you've heard what Jitendra Ojha had to say as far as how exactly has Sri Lanka been able to tide over. They've been able to at least put a stop to the nation which was actually bleeding at some point in time. But there were strong measures that were taken. Politicians who were essentially concerned about their own country. It seems right now, Abdul Samad, that all that you're concerned about is let the ISI take over, let the army continue interfering and let the army be able to take that decision. And that's the reason why you've not been able to come up with a concrete solution for your way ahead. And it's difficult for the politicians to admit.
Well, I completely agree with you that yes, we are dealing the crisis, the economic crisis, with the same mentality and the same approach which has brought us to this economic crisis. I mean, we are needing $75 billion, as you have mentioned, in 3 years. But we are looking for a miracles. I mean, we must realize that the current economic model of the Pakistan is not sustainable. We have to change the approach towards the economy. We must learn from our neighbor India, who has brought some reforms in early 90s. I mean, we need to change. We need to change the economic approach. We must reform. Otherwise, we will be looking for the friendly countries or the brotherly countries that they have put some dollars in our pocket so we can repay the debts, or we can we can avoid this default for the time being. I mean, we are trying to grab the time. Okay. We can drag the situation further for 6 months, but after 6 months, or even if IMF release this loan, even if they have, this deal is successful, yet the other year we would be facing the same crisis. So I agree with you that we must brought some reforms.
So what's the way ahead? Ambassador Sanchanar, as I understand, as we speak right now, with regards to the IMF loan of $1.1 billion, that seems to have now got stuck because Pakistan does not want to agree to certain conditions. I do not know where does that confidence really emerge from. But Ambassador, I want you to weigh in on the impact it's going to have on the subcontinent if the situation goes, if it worsens even further, then what does it essentially mean for the subcontinent?
Yeah, I think it means very bad times as far as the subcontinent is concerned. But, let me just turn back, to what our friend from Pakistan was saying. I think there are a number of areas in which Pakistan really needs to do some work. He's spoken about the changes in the economic policy that has to be brought in. But I think in addition to that, first, there has to be some modicum of unity that needs to be restored within the country. There has been so much of polarization between the government and the opposition, between the coalition led by Mr. Shehbaz Sharif and Imran Khan, that they are literally at loggerheads and they can't seem to work with each other. There has to be some modicum of working together between the two sides. There has to be some sort of a political leadership, because, he's mentioned about the reforms that India undertook in 1991. I think for the reforms to take root, to be implemented, you have to have the political leadership all through, whether it was Mr. Narasimha Rao, at that time Dr. Manmohan Singh as the finance minister, or Mr. Vajpayee, or Manmohan Singh, or now for the last 9 years, we've had Prime Minister Modi in position of power. There has been that leadership which has enjoyed the trust, the confidence, and the credibility of the country. So I think that is very important. Secondly, in terms of the policies that have followed, I'm sure they understand very well in terms of the economic policies, because it is basically people do not count for anything in Pakistan. People don't mean anything. It is basically the bureaucracy, it is the army, it is the ISI, it is the big business tycoons for whom policies are formulated. The last point, Shravan, that I would like to make is, I think they also really need to look at the, whom they are cultivating as their friends. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, reference to which was made, India came up with $4.2 billion without asking for, any payback from them. Pakistan, whenever it has taken money, it has always had to sort of, give, shed part of its sovereignty. So I think there are many areas in which Pakistan needs to work. The final point is it needs to very carefully recalibrate and revise its policy with respect to its relations with India. If it is able to do that, not allow the army to manage its relations with India, I think it has
but the question here
with India, it has some hope for future. Shravan.
Well, gentlemen, I'm really running short of time, so I'll just give the last word to Javed Khan and Jitendra Ojha. Quick word, Javed Khan, 30 seconds, and then 30 seconds to Jitendra Ojha. We've all spoken about what's the roadmap. One thing stands out in common. A resolute leadership is what Pakistan needs, which I don't see in the foreseeable situation, in a foreseeable coming few months. But having said that, what is it, Javed Khan, do you think that had Pakistan basically acted on certain conditions that the IMF had put, perhaps the situation would have been a little different? Why is it so very difficult to realize the fact that you can't harbor terrorists and then expect the IMF to still give you the loan?
Let me first say that I really can't agree more of what my Indian friend earlier stated. His analysis about Pakistan was right, bang on target. I think it is the ruling elite which has betrayed the people of Pakistan. But let there be no mistake that people are not disillusioned yet. There's a very vibrant society in Pakistan. It's a young country with more than 65% population. It's a young population. Our intellectuals, our civil society, our media, definitely they understand what the country is going through. But as far as the ruling elite is concerned, I think definitely no two opinions. There's successive governments and successive leadership really betrayed the people of Pakistan.
Okay.
But let me answer. You said the path forward.
Right.
I think
Javed Khan, sorry, I'm cutting you short. Yes. Javed Khan, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you short because I'm really running short of time, and I just want to give one quick word to. Yeah, go ahead. Quickly make a point, because I just want to give a quick word also to Jitendra Ojha.
Yes, 5 seconds. I think we will be able to conclude a deal, the staff level agreement with the IMF in the coming weeks, most probably in a couple of weeks' time, because we have already got the guarantees from Saudi Arabia. And if United Arab Emirates goes ahead, which I believe that it is going to go ahead as far as the guarantees are concerned, and Pakistan will be able to conclude.
I think, IMF issue is only a temporary breather.
Jitendra Ojha, I just want a closing comment. In a nutshell, Jitendra Ojha, what are the bullet points that you would say that perhaps Pakistan really needs to implement? It's only for their good, not just for the subcontinent's good, but it is for their good too. Hence, I just want, in a nutshell, what is it that Pakistan urgently needs to do?
Pakistan needs to strategically reform all its institutions, including politics. It has an oversized military, which itself is feeding on people of Pakistan. It has to reduce its military to the size of just 10 to 15%, and then build strong rule of law. This culture of entitlement, whether in their bureaucracy or in their politicians, they have to, if civil society is really resilient, they have to stand up. And I would say that as a country, whatever, even if they are our neighbor, they have to have a strong vision. And wherever you live, you can't be creating some kind of toxicity and poison everywhere else, because you have to live in collaboration or in friendship with your neighbors. So they have to change this psyche, and this psyche is not likely to change as long as they don't cut their army to the size of just 10%, because they just don't need such a big army. I conclude.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the Trending Burning Question. Well, that's a focus that we're going to have over the next few days, as the situation is only worsening with every passing day. Think tanks from the United States of America has also now warned that there are dire consequences ahead for Pakistan in the days to come. Thank you very much for watching the Trending Burning Question. On the other side, the debate in Chief Arnab Goswami.
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
How do you see Israel helping India in combating the water crisis?
It's a major problem here in India, and we have the solutions. So we are trying to work together, bringing the information, bring the technologies, bringing the excellent centers that we have here in India. And I know Prime Minister Modi deals with that a lot, and he was successful to bring dozens and dozens of millions to